This time we have the Invader League yet again, luunta versus Ghost Walking, luunta on the Rebels and Ghost Walking on the Imperials. Let's take a quick look at what exactly is going on in this game. So over here, on the side closer to the camera, we have Ghost Walking, and we're kind of joining the game in the middle of the stream, so my apologies. It's gonna be a little more rushed, less time to describe the setup as we've had in some of the games. So we have here, it looks like the initial command cards played have been Leia's Coordinated Bombardment, kind of a classic card, doing some barrages at the start of the game. And that is against Annihilation Looms. It looks like we actually saw a change of plans from luunta, taking whatever he was going to do initially, maybe a maximum firepower from Veers, and canceling it. So luunta canceled whatever the first card was on the part of Ghost Walking, and then played his Coordinated Bombardment. So we're now seeing the Coordinated Bombardment has gone off here. It looks like it has killed... Looks like it killed a Stormtrooper and 2 Snowtroopers, as well as putting a wound on Veers. So that is a decent but not incredible outcome. Or maybe the wound is actually on Krennic. Actually, there's a lot of suppression here. I just realized that... I actually just realized there's going to be suppression on everybody thanks to that Annihilation Looms card, so I think it was on Veers actually. Now we're seeing a Death Trooper unit moving up and firing at long range. They get a pretty bad roll with their long range beam. They do manage to stack a bunch of suppression on that squad, but they don't actually do any further damage. However, this squad might be out of range of a commander. And if they are, they're going to be in big trouble, because I'm not sure if they're in range to Leia, and if they aren't, they might well run off the board with 3 suppression on them there. So that could be a nasty surprise. Let's do a very quick list review while the players are activating their next units. It looks like on the Rebel side we have Leia Organa, support character, decent combat ability up close, good abilities to remove suppression from and give dodge tokens to your troops. Also, she has her very strong artillery. Looks like that unit was activated. The unit that was just suppressed was activated. They failed to clear their suppression, only clearing 1 out of 3, and they run off the board. So that's going to be a one-hit kill. That unit is completely off the table. Big mistake there. Very substantial mistake from luunta. You should not deploy your units outside of command range against an army that can put out a lot of suppression, and we see why. Not a single model was killed, but that's an entire unit and activation removed. Big mistake from luunta, and Ghost Walking now in a pretty favorable position after those initial attacks. So, you know, in the past, suppression has not been an incredibly real mechanic, but it has gotten a lot more powerful, and players need to be a lot more careful of it to avoid having what just happened there happen to them. So that was not what he wanted to see, but that's the way it goes. Anyway, continuing the quick list review, we have Leia with Improvised Orders and Environmental Gear. We have Han with Environmental Gear. Han has very disruptive command cards that cause a lot of problems for the opponent. He has low profile, which makes him turn light cover into heavy cover. He has Uncanny Luck, which allows him to reroll up to 3 of his defense dice. He has Gunslinger and Sharpshooter 1. His attack has only 2 dice, but they are red dice with Pierce 2. If he can catch 2 units out of cover or in only light cover, which he ignores, he can often kill 4 infantry models in 1 turn, which is very strong. So Han, both a disruptive commander and very good at picking off troopers once he gets close. Looks like we are now seeing who is activating there. Is that just a Stormtrooper squad, blue Stormtroopers? They're moving up. And let's continue this review while these units move up. We have Chewie as well as Han and Leia. So Chewie he has Guardian, so he can take hits for nearby units. Once he's taken 4 wounds, he gains charge and he becomes fearless. He has a powerful gun at range 1 to 3 with 2 red dice, 2 white dice, impact 1, and pierce 1. His melee is even stronger with 4 red dice. Commonly, people have taken tenacity on him, but this player has opted not to do that, so he just has the 4 red dice. He has Teamwork Han Solo. When you're at range 1 to 2 of Han Solo, if you or Han Solo gains an aim or dodge, the other gains a token of the same type. And he has Unhindered and Expert Climber, allowing him to move through terrain quickly. Chewie's pretty strong. His main weakness is that he has a weak save. He has a white defense die with no surge, which means he is quite vulnerable to rolling bad dice. We see a sniper rallying here, or activating here. Doesn't rally, but doesn't need to. And now taking a sniper shot at the green guys, who I believe only have light cover. One hit. We're going to see the reroll spent here. If they have heavy cover, he should reroll both. If not, he should reroll just the white die. Let's see which one he does. Reroll both, so I guess they're rolled to have heavy cover. And that is exactly why you want to reroll both of those. He gets the crit and gets through the cover anyway. Got the crit with the rerolled black die. And actually, it looks like the line was just drawn incorrectly, and he was actually shooting for Veers. This is a hunter sniper, so he had a free aim, and now he's going to take a move action. Hunter snipers have been discussed. Nick Freeman used them and went undefeated at Adepticon. The advantage of Hunter is that it makes it so that you're better at shooting down enemy characters by giving you free aim tokens when attacking a wounded trooper. And the downside of Hunter, in my opinion, is that it is often best for your sniper to be shooting either an opponent's sniper or a core unit, because if you shoot a core unit, you can put a suppression on them and potentially quite hamper them in the rest of the turn, and as a result of that, Hunter does give you a substantial buff, but it gives you that buff when you're attacking targets that I personally don't necessarily think are optimal. Veer's also failing to rally. Luckily for him, he has Courage 2, so he's not off the board, but he is going to only get one action this turn, and he's already taken 2 wounds. We could see Focus Fire from the rebel player picking Veers off. That would be especially annoying since he hasn't had a chance to use his powerful Coordinated Bombardment command card or his Imperial Discipline command card. If the rebels can kill Veers on this first turn, that could be pretty huge. All right. So we're seeing Veers just running behind the cover with his one activation, which I think is prudent, trying to protect him from potential focused fire. The advantage of those hunter snipers is that they really are quite good at killing. They really are quite good at killing commanders that don't have immune to pierce or impervious. So if you're firing them at, let's say, Luke, that's not necessarily what you want to do. But if you are firing them at, Veers or Leia or Krennic or Han, their defenses can kind of get ignored by that, which turns out to be pretty useful. And so let's see what we see now. Looks like we're going in here with the. That's another sniper. So this one is going for those green guys who they did manage to get out of cover. Or rather, the green guys have light cover only, which is being ignored thanks to Sharpshooter on the sniper team. So given that they are avoiding that, we're going to see... we see them roll to rally. They do rally. That doesn't matter so much. And we're now seeing them... They're going to take the shot, and we'll see what the outcome is. So right now, the rebels are doing more damage with their shots, but they really need to make up for that unit that they got panicked off the board. So it's going to be interesting to see how things progress. Okay, sniper rolling his shot does not have an aim here unless he takes an aim normally. We're going to get absolutely nothing, and he didn't take an aim. So a little foolish in my opinion. Normally snipers just want to be aiming and shooting. I don't know that moving here is going to get him a lot of value. But, it is what it is. Yeah, especially not moving towards the opponent. But that's okay. So he's playing aggressively, which is something that people have advocated with these hunter snipers, and is actually another reason I don't like them. I don't think that aggressive style of play is the most effective way to use the snipers overall. Okay, so that is the sniper unit moving up over there, and let's see here. I guess let's do some more list review. So, what? Yeah, so this is actually a very strange list. He's gone heavy on these hunter units. He has actually a full unit of rebel commandos. This is not commonly seen. They are the same as the snipers, but they have a full squad in addition to the sniper, and that unit also has hunter, also has the sniper rifle, and they also have environmental gear to allow them to move up quicker. That unit is not commonly fielded It has actually a very strong attack power, but the downside of this unit is that it's expensive and its defense is not so good. It may be that he's trying to mitigate that defensive weakness by taking Chewbacca, who can take some of the hits for them, and if so, that could be an interesting strategy, and we will see how that works. Personally, I think that's been fairly effective for me before, but the one downside that I see with it that I think is kind of tough to mitigate is that Guardian does not work on crits. So, even though you can take a bunch of hits onto Chewie, and have your guys not taking the damage and doing fine, if someone does a lot of crits to you, especially with somebody like Bosk, there's not really a counter there from Chewbacca, and that can be a big problem. I actually do think that Bosk's lying in wait card is going to cause serious problems for strategies like that, because you can very likely generate 5 crits and just go through that sort of defense. However, as we move the list review over to the other side of the board, we will see that Bosk is not going to be a factor in this game, I believe. Okay. Screwtape 7 and 7-7, yeah, so on the first turn, there was Annihilation Looms on the Imperial side after Change of Plans was played. I think Change of Plans stopped maximum firepower, but the Death Troopers shot their long-range guns at a Rebel Trooper squad, didn't do any damage, but that put them on 3 suppression. They had been deployed away from any commander. They were kind of by that bridge there in the center lava area, and with no commander to back them up, they panicked off the board. So that was I think it was a substantial mistake from the Rebel player deploying a unit outside of command range when he is facing against an army like this one, which has substantial suppression power, but that is what he decided to do, unfortunately for him. So yeah, the Rebels are down 1 activation despite not having failed any saves. The Imperials have taken some more casualties. They lost 2 troopers here, 1 trooper there. Veers has taken 2 wounds, but overall I think the Rebels have taken worse damage simply because they have lost 1 unit entirely. So now we're seeing a standard Z6 squad moving up onto the cliff. The cliff does look like it's going to be a good firing position for this game. So the Rebel player has, in addition to the 2 sniper strike teams, Han, Leia, Chewie, and the 1 full squad of commandos, he has 3 Rebel troopers with Z6s, just very basic frontline units, quite effective, quite efficient, and 1 1.4 FD laser cannon team, the powerful heavy weapon that is entirely stationary, but if someone can get within its range 4, it can throw 5 black dice with impact 2 and surge to hit, which is really quite nasty. So we see the FD deployed right here, kind of staring down this central area at the Imperials. And now we're seeing, so this squad has moved up and they're checking ranges. Looks like they're in range on the Death Troopers. We might see a shot on the Death Troopers here. They would have heavy cover, but I think they're the only legal target, and he may want to just try to get some damage out there. Even 1 Death Trooper model taken down is quite valuable. On the Imperial side of things, we have Veers and Krennic. Neither of them have any upgrades at all. Yeah, it does look like the Death Troopers are being engaged here. So let's take a quick break from list review and take a quick look at some dice. He spawns 2... No, wait, no, that's the right number, I think. 2 crits get in, even though they have heavy cover. Good job for the Z6 there. Z6 kind of a crit machine because it adds so many dice. So we're going to see 2 red defense dice with surges. Let's see if the Death Troopers can weather this attack. 1 Death Trooper is killed. So that kind of speculative shot ends up being pretty valuable. However, there are some Imperial medical droids on the field, which may soon restore that Death Trooper to life. So yeah, going back to the Empire list, we have Veers, Krennic. We have 1 Snow Trooper unit with the standard configuration of Flame Trooper to add blast and spray, and fragmentation grenades. Very standard configuration for those Snow Troopers. We then have, looks like 3 units of normal Stormtroopers. 1 of them has just the DLT-19 heavy weapon, another classic weapon, very, very powerful, very widely used. And the other 2 have both the DLT and the FX9 medical droid, who can be used to heal your guys. I do think it's very likely that we're going to see one of those medical droids from this center squad in red used to revive the Death Trooper who was just killed by that Z6 unit, as using medical droids on Death Troopers is, as I've discussed before, a really good deal. Looks like a sniper is engaging the Rebel Commandos, and he misses completely. Doesn't have an aim token. Won't even give them a suppression. Okay, continuing on, we have a unit of Imperial Death Troopers, kind of a classic. E11D and DLT19D. So this squad has the normal loadout. And then the other one, this is actually the same list, I think, that Ghostwalking was using in his earlier game that I streamed, where he was playing against a different style of Death Trooper list, but once again he has the Death Troopers with DT-F16 this time, and the Focused Fire E11D. Or at least I think it was Ghostwalking who was in that game, I can't quite remember. So 2 units of Death Troopers, 3 units of Stormtroopers, 1 unit of Snow Troopers, Veers, Krennic, and then 2 Sniper Strike teams. So this is an interesting list. I do have to say I don't like DT F16. You already have Compel in your list. I guess it gives you 2 sources of Compel, so he can have kind of 2 main bodies to his force. So we're seeing, yeah, this group has DT F16, but it also has Krennic, so I think he has misdeployed. He has put both of his Compel sources next to each other instead of having one in this main group and one in the group on the left. I can't say I think that is a wise decision. I think that since Compel does not stack, it would be better if he had one source of Compel with one group and one source with the other. This is also why I don't really think DT-F16 is very good. It is redundant with Krennic. You already have Compel going in your list, so you don't necessarily need that. Ronak, I don't think I'm thinking of your game, but maybe I am. I could be crazy. Were you the one who was running, Ronak, were you the one who was running 2 Death Troopers and a Royal Guard with Veers? I think I streamed one with Ghostwalking before, and if I recall correctly, it didn't work very well against a different list that also had Death Troopers but did a better job of keeping them alive. Yeah. But yeah, okay, so it looks like another Z6 squad fires and once again manages to pick off a single Death Trooper. So Death Trooper's taking a bit of attrition here, and there is going to be 1 medic with each group, so he did split those up. So I think we're going to see this red medic being used to restore one of those Death Troopers. The other medic is in this yellow squad. I don't know if they have enough movement to get to the Death Troopers and heal them, so probably won't see that. A unit of Stormtroopers looks like they do rally, so that's going to be 2 actions. Oh, no, actually, it's the other sniper team who is also hiding back there. Now, I don't know that bringing these snipers out on this side is good. I think they actually have a pretty decent chance to get picked off. For instance, Chewie, on average, gets 1 crit when he attacks, so he can shoot at one of those guys and likely kill them. These commandos are also potentially going to do some damage. And with Chewie and Han here, Han and Chewie each have a dodge token. Looks like he's continuing to focus fire on the Rebel commandos. They will have heavy cover, so he needs to get either both hits or a crit. 1 hit only, saved by cover, does put a suppression on those commandos, though. So both the Imperial snipers have now gone, and with little result. They may find themselves a bit exposed, but we will see how things progress there. We will see whether they can prevail. Rally dice being rolled. Looks like for the Rebel Commandos. Ooh, and he fails a rally. They are only going to get 1 action. Oh, but by mistake, I don't actually know. I don't know for sure if it was a mistake, but I think it was certainly not good. It looks like the line of sight is limited. It looks like that 1 sniper did actually move within range 3. However, I'm not sure much of anybody can see him. I don't know for sure because the range bands are obscuring it and making it difficult to tell. But we will see how that goes. They're probably going to attack. Looks like the sniper shot is going off. Not sure who that target is. Sniper shot goes off, getting only 1 hit, so that will probably just be a suppression. Yeah, it looks like the sniper fired there, and then they ruled that all the normal guns could see that guy, and all of them are going there. Didn't think they could all see, but the players thought differently. One crit does get in with 2 hits saved by cover. Oh wait, no, I'm sorry, only 1 hit saved by cover thanks to Sharpshooter, and the green sniper is picked off. Luckily his extra man was not visible. I'm really not sure that they could see all those, quite frankly, but the bands were up there, if the players decided on that, that's fair. And I suppose if they couldn't see the sniper probably couldn't see them, so perhaps they had just agreed on that. I'm not quite sure. So then we are seeing a dead unit, or a dead model. The other sniper in the unit is still a little further back. Now, we're seeing this Annihilation Looms dealing a lot of suppression early on. And definitely changing the game up a bit. I think that Biggin says that he thinks with all these Imperialists, 3 courage commanders like Luke become even more mandatory. And that Krennic and Death Troopers pose serious problems to Courage 4 units that can actually cause Sabine to panic. Yeah, presumably you mean Courage 2 units that panic with 4 tokens. But yes, I agree. I think that ironically, this is another thing reinforcing Luke's place in the meta right now. Luke is the kind of premier rebel commander. Some would say Leia's better than Luke. Yeah, it looks like they're just playing these crates as not blocking line of sight. The Death Troopers are shooting right through those central crates, and they are also piling some fire on those rebel commandos, resulting in 4, 5, 2 get saved by cover, and if I were the rebel commander, I would put 2 on Chewie and only 1 on the commandos. So here is, it looks like that's probably what he's doing. 2 on Chewie. Chewie fails his saves. So that'll be 2 wounds for Chewie, but that's okay. And then 1 save for the commandos. Yeah, Jyn is also Courage 3, but she has some issues. And the commandos make their save. So the Rebel commandos are staying alive. They're a good demonstration of Guardian being used to weather some heat from what was a pretty strong attack with 5 hits, even though it did go through cover. Now the 1.4 FD is spinning up, and it looks like he is in range of only the units on the right, and so if I were him, I would probably just aim and fire the FD at that purple sniper who has exposed himself. Looks like he's firing on the yellow guys instead. Not sure I like that. I think that you could only see 1 model. It's a unit that's already activated, and I just don't really see shooting them as that impactful. I would go for the purple sniper, try to pick him off, and then, try to be reducing my opponent's activation count and damage output. He does get all 5 in, which is actually a pretty normal outcome for an FD aiming and shooting. 5 black dice with surge to hit and rerolls is pretty strong. For some reason, only 2 saves were rolled. That should be 3 saves. Oh, no, they have a dodge token. Okay. So that's more reason not to shoot at them, but he does kill the 1 visible model. Is this scenario... Are they doing... No, they're not doing the scenario where suppression stays. Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't think that killing a single stormtrooper is worth the opportunity to kill a single a sniper there. But the FD does pick off a trooper and deal a suppression. The battle plan cards are key positions, battle lines, and clear conditions. So battle lines, most boring, most basic deployment, just range 1 in. Key positions has 3 objectives. 1 is the terrain piece that is centermost to the table. The other 2 are picked by the players. We will give a quick review of what the key positions actually are. Key position 1 is this steaming crater here. So this one in the center. Key position 2 is this turret. And key position 3 is this box marked by the satellite dishes. So we're seeing they've basically elected to only use half the table. And we're seeing a big fight over here in the center. I do think the Rebel Troopers are... I actually think both armies have deployed a little too far on the right side, given that there are no objectives over here, but that is what they chose to do. Alright, so now we see Chewbacca activating. He does have 2 suppression, so we'll see how he rallies. He will have to rally if you... or no, he only has 1, my mistake, because he wasn't shot at, he just used Guardian. So he doesn't rally. We'll have to see him move up if he wants to take a shot. Under these circumstances, I would maybe move up and shoot at the Death Troopers or maybe at the Purple Sniper. Both of those are pretty good targets. The Death Troopers are a good target because your Pierce is extra valuable against their good saves. The Sniper is a good target because you want to be picking off enemy Sniper strike teams early. Generally speaking, that's a valuable strategy to do. I would not necessarily move this whole distance, though. I would just move to the edge of range 3 and take a pot shot from there. I think moving all the way in is a little aggressive. Actually, it's a lot aggressive. But he is moving in aggressively. So you can kind of see the Death Troopers, I guess. Oh, actually his head is really tall, so you can actually see them pretty well. Though they do obviously have heavy cover. We could also see the target. Yep, he is going for the Death Troopers, trying to get the maximum result out of that Pierce. They do have heavy cover, but Chewie has surge to crits. This could potentially be a strong attack. Chewie's gun is actually, I believe, stronger than that of Bosk, with the downside that it is only at range 3, whereas boss can reach out to range 4. And we see 2 hits and a crit, so the crit will get through and kill a Death Trooper. Almost looked like we were going to get a double crit there, which would have been pretty nasty. Biggins, Sabine has 2 issues. The first issue is that she's actually not a commander, so she doesn't give courage to your other guys. The second issue is that she doesn't have force push, which I think is actually a big problem. I haven't played a lot with her, but Luke really gets a lot of mileage out of force push. It makes him much more versatile, and not having that's going to be an issue for Sabine. But we'll have to see how she does. Now we're seeing rally dice being rolled, and there is 1 rally there, so those stormtroopers are still suppressed. I can only imagine they're going to move over here and heal one of the dead Death Troopers. As it has become fairly standard, we are seeing medics being used in conjunction with Death Troopers, with the medics being essentially backups in case you lose your valuable Death Trooper models. You can bring them back. I think that this is commonly done for a reason. I think it's kind of a natural synergy. And in general, medics get better the more elite your guys are. So if you're running an army like my army from Adepticon, where you have almost entirely just basic troopers and then a few sniper strike teams, medics are not going to be the strongest thing in the world. But if you have an army with a lot of elite units, like, the full commandos are actually a good option to use medics on. Pathfinders, Death Troopers, that type of thing, things look pretty different. Okay. So, yep, they move into the crater, slowing themselves down to do that. And then a medic is used to revive a Death Trooper. So 4 Death Troopers remaining in that squad. Now we see a commander is pulled. Looks like it's going to be Han Solo. He's probably not going to be in range this turn. He does rally his 1 suppression. So Han Solo may be moving up. I think maybe you just rush the crates and get in position to do 2 shots next turn. I don't know. There's a risk that the Death Troopers hit you with their grenade launcher if you attack aggressively, which could do a lot of damage. Does have Chewie for backup though, so I'm not sure. I would probably play Han pretty aggressively here. I think that this army doesn't have an assault element that can really deal with Han that easily, and Han is usually best when he's charging into the fray and getting a lot of shots in. Additionally, his Pierce could be quite strong against those Death Troopers. If the Death Troopers clear their suppression and Han moves up to a place where he has range 2 to them, that could actually be a lot of damage because he could ignore the cover 1 from that blast hole and fire 2 shots. 2 red dice against those Death Troopers with Pierce 2 is very likely 2 Death Troopers off the field. And that could be not at all what the Imperial player wants to see in that situation. Han really is a big damage dealer against troopers. His main weakness is being charged, but if he stays behind this terrain, it may be that they will be unable to charge him because they will be slowed down, so that could be a prudent move. Additionally, even if they do charge him, Chewie is kind of standing right there to have his back. Now, I don't understand being right behind that thing because I think he can't see over it. So yeah, he's right behind this. They might not be playing this crate as being present just based on what else they've been doing with line of sight. But maybe he's there. He'll do sorry about the mess, get a free dodge and free aim, give 1 to Chewie also, step out there, shoot 2 guys. That would be a pretty strong start to the next turn. So we'll see whether or not the Rebel player opts to do that. Han Solo moving in. Radica08 says it's a window. I'm not sure. Do you mean like the little gap under there? I'm not sure what you mean by a window. The crate itself doesn't look like a window. Maybe they're playing that you can see through the slit. I'm not sure. Oh, got it. Okay. Rally fails. So that was a commander. That was actually Krennic who failed to rally. That's okay since he has courage too. And the upside of stacking your compel bubbles next to each other is that he could actually use compel, or he could actually take compel from the other squad even if he were suppressed and move up. So what do you guys think about the prospect of using Annihilation Looms early or late? So this card activates 3 things. Each trooper unit gains 1 suppression. If it is round 5 or 6, each trooper unit gains 1 additional suppression. What do you think? Do you think this is best spent early or best spent later on in the game? That was the end of the turn, incidentally. It looks like Krennic did nothing. Maybe he dodged or something. So after that first turn, it's actually a pretty interesting situation. We see 2 wounds on Chewie, I believe. Yeah, 2 wounds on Chewie, and then this purple squad unfortunately panicked off the board. On the Imperial side of things, there are a fair number of casualties spread out across more units. 2 wounds on Veers, 2 dead snowtroopers, 2 dead stormtroopers, 2 dead death troopers, and 1 dead sniper model. The rebels have probably done more damage overall, but they have lost an activation, which is not what they want, and could have been avoided if they had stayed within range of their commanders. Bacon says he thinks using Annihilation looms early if they don't have Inspire is great. If they have Leia or other Inspire things, it's not too great. Ronak says Han has experience shooting under things. It works. Nice. Oh man, so we see, this is crazy. So we see Voracious Ambition being played. This is Krennic's 1-pip. It activates him and then you get 3 random order tokens on it, which allow you to draw your stuff in better order. But it is, and this card almost always goes first because it's a 1-pip card and Krennic has Cunning, which means that you go first if it's a tie. So in theory this should go first almost all the time, but as I had predicted, Sorry About the Mess, which is 0 pips, comes out. So Han's I go first, trumping Krennic's I go first, and Han getting a free aim and dodge, which is then shared with Chewbacca. And I think there's a good chance that we're going to see Han taking the first activation here, just moving into a spot where he can see and then firing on the enemy troopers. I think he could probably get a shot where he can shoot the death troopers out of cover, and then also shoot maybe the sniper here, maybe the yellow troopers, not entirely sure. But I think he can potentially do some major damage with that kind of last first move, moving him in last so he doesn't get shot, and now activating him first could do a lot of damage. Yeah, Bacon says it seems he forgot Han always wins. Yep, I think that under that circumstance, Krennic's 1-pip might be the wrong play, just because there is a very high chance that your opponent is going for Han's 1-pip, and if he does, you are not going to be going first. Better to save it until later when you can sneak in there more effectively. Now, on the other hand, I will say that now the Rebel player has played both of his 1-pip cards. He's played his Barrage on the first turn, and now Sorry About the Mess on the second turn, and that does mean that the Rebel player is going to have an activation disadvantage later. However, we could see Notorious Scoundrels come out next turn to put Sorry About the Mess back in the pool, which would be pretty nasty, and allow for another turn where Han is guaranteed to go first. We'll see whether or not that happens. Biggin says, can't underestimate Chewie with an aim against those Death Troopers. I have to agree. It looks like he pulled from the stack, drew a Special Forces unit, and then he triggered Improvised Orders to draw another Special Forces unit. So that's a bit of bad luck, but I'm not sure why he did it instead of just using Han. So a bit of bad luck, but also a little bit his own fault. So this sniper has moved up and cannot. I guess he can see the gun barrel of that Imperial sniper. You see that tiny peg sticking out there? So maybe he'll aim and shoot at that sniper's gun, shoot the gun out of his hand like a Wild West movie. No, it looks like he is moving back to where he was earlier. This is sort of why I think moving those snipers didn't make sense. I'm not sure what advantage they were gaining from moving that direction, and indeed we're now seeing them move right back. Maybe the shot will be at the Death Troopers from over here? Does look like it's going to be, or it's going to be on this, no, it's going to be on that sniper. Okay, so he could have aimed and shot there at the sniper's gun barrel. Possible he didn't see it. But instead he's moving and taking a shot unaimed. He does get the crit though, so he didn't need the aim token. Is going to bump off the sniper. And that's going to be both sniper strike teams over here on the Imperial side have lost a model, which does mean that if they stick out to shoot, they're going to be in danger of being picked off. So that is a pretty good result here for the Rebellion. Now this side of the board, we're kind of seeing Han and Chewie facing off against a giant swarm of troopers over here. All kinds of troopers behind that wall waiting to come and fight Han and Chewie. But Han and Chewie do have backup in the form of the Commandos, the mighty FD cannon, and the guys behind them. The Death Troopers are moving, kind of hiding, actually. A little confused by this move. I would have fired first before you move. But maybe they just want to get out of there and avoid being hit by Han. However, I think if you're activating them, you might as well shoot first, then move. As you don't really want to be not shooting with your Death Troopers since they're kind of your main damage dealers. But yeah, they're just ducking in, and they're actually going to take a standby. Okay, that's kind of reasonable. So they take a standby and get a free aim. So if Han comes around the corner, those Death Troopers are going to be able to blast him. That's not bad. I would personally not prefer to do that. I would just shoot instead from the get-go. But I also would have activated Han first to make sure that the Death Troopers don't get a response. Riggins points out that Chewie can go first. Yeah, that's true. So if Chewie comes out before Han does, Chewie can stand outside of range 2, shoot the Death Troopers at range 3, and therefore knock their standby token off. This is sort of the downside of standby. It very frequently just gets picked off you by guys that are not in your line of that are not in your range. Now, he could have mitigated that by taking the Overwatch upgrade on his Death Troopers, which puts standby range out to 3. That would actually be pretty cool. I think Overwatch on Death Troopers is legitimate, but he does not have that upgrade, so it will not be relevant here. Sniper moving out and firing at the yellow Troopers. Can only see 1 or 2 around the edge. Once again, have to question why the Snipers moved that direction on the first turn, as we are now seeing them move right back to their original position and thus not getting a chance to aim. Okay, firing 1 white, 1 black on those Troopers needs a crit or 2 hits. Gets a hit, which will put a suppression on the Troopers, but it will not convert thanks to their heavy cover, which goes to light cover. Once again, might have been nice to be stationary. Could have had an aim and gotten a second chance at that roll. Who's activating now? Looks like the other Imperial Death Troopers over there. They're kind of wiggling out to just get... I think what he's going to do here is just sort of wiggle into having the edge of line of sight on the blue guys and then shoot them, which seems fine. However, these Death Troopers have DTF-16 rather than the normal heavy weapon, and that does put them kind of at a disadvantage without their DLT, as these guys are going to be rolling just 4 black dice and a white die rather than 3 black dice, 2 red, and a white. While DTF-16 does give you Compel, her damage output is very lackluster compared to the DLT-19D. Good afternoon, Yavin Base. How's it going over there? Yep, they're firing, trying to get some revenge at one of the Z6 squads that took down some of their guys last turn. 4 red, black, and a white into heavy cover. Do have a surge to hit, so there's a good chance of some damage getting through. Yep, that attack surge means that 1 shot will get in, but 1 shot is not going to worry them so much, even if they lose a guy. And oof, insult to injury, they don't even lose a guy. This is actually a good demonstration of why I don't think DTF-16 is the most competitive option. I feel the Death Troopers really need that DLT-19D to put enough firepower through to reliably take down enemy units, and without that, their dice pool is just not that great as soon as they take even minor casualties. Okay, so now we are seeing the Rebel Troopers that were just shot at activating. We'll have to see if they rally, but I suspect Nope, looks like the other rebel troopers activating. Okay, they can only see like, I guess maybe 3 of these. Hard to tell. They can only see like 2 or 3 of these. I suspect we're gonna see an aimed shot here, maybe a dodging shot, maybe a move. I don't know. You could shoot and then move down to prevent the enemy from returning fire. I would have been a little more tempted to activate with the blue unit first since they already have a suppression. Yavin Base asks, which Empire lists that don't run Krennic need Compel? That's the thing. I kind of think that if you want Compel, I don't know. You know, it's an interesting question. I think Krennic and the DTF-16 Death Trooper squad costs actually about the same, and the Death Troopers certainly have better range damage output, so it's possible if you want Compel, they are a better option if you don't otherwise want Krennic, but Krennic does add some cool command cards and flexibility in other aspects. Here comes the shot. 2 hits, 1 crit. Those surges don't do anything. We are probably going to see a reroll. Yeah, it was an aimed shot, so we're rerolling those 2. It does generate 1 more hit, so 2 will get in against those Death Troopers. 2 red saves coming out. And 1 failure, so that's going to be a dead Death Trooper. This is actually the average result, no, it isn't. You have a slightly better than average chance to lose a guy if you take 2 saves with Death Troopers. You have a 4/9 chance to lose nobody, a 4/9 chance to lose 1 guy, and a 1/9 chance to lose 2 guys, if I recall correctly. So now a core unit activating using its medic once again. And the medic brings back that Death Trooper. So now that medic has actually been depleted, I believe, with 1 use last turn and 1 use this turn to bring back Death Troopers. And so with the medic depleted, this squad probably wants to advance to the front line. They're going to be a little stymied in doing that as they did move into that crater for cover, which I think was erroneous because there were really not any rebel units that were going to attack them. It might have been better to just move into the kind of gap area there in the open and then be able to do a better move next turn. They have cover anyway from this large obstacle, in my view. So a slight move there. And then what will happen next? Maybe another move? Looks like a dodge. Playing quite conservatively there. But, that kind of makes sense. His troopers are in a better position to run for the center objective than those rebel troopers are. So I think he can afford to play conservatively. The question is whether the rebel characters over here are going to overrun him, which I do think there's a risk of. So Leia activating first and rallying 2 suppression off those rebel commandos, thanks to her Inspire ability. And then what will she do next? She could give a dodge token to... So if she moved up, she could give a dodge token to herself and 1 to Han, which would also give 1 to Chewie. She could move up twice. I'm not entirely sure. The question is really, does he want some more dodge tokens, or does he want some Leia to move up more aggressively for pistol shots later on in the game? I might just move her up again, but I could see it being possible that he'll give out a dodge to herself and a dodge to Han and Chewie. One thing he does need to be careful that blue squad is in range of Leia to avoid them potentially panicking. I think they may well be moving out of that distance. And given the bad results for the purple unit, I think they're probably still in it. I'm not certain. But given the bad results for that purple unit earlier, he does need to be careful that he keeps his guys within command range. One interesting thing is that there's a command card, I forget what it is, Commanding Presence, I think, that allows you to give orders out to range 4. That card is very bad in my opinion. But I think that if it were... if that command card let you give your command bubble for morale out to range 4 as well, it would be a lot stronger. And it would really be much more something that I would consider playing. Biggin says, it seems realistic that he's going to just charge the position in the enemy deployment. Yeah, I do think that's likely. So defending this, we have Veers, who's taken some wounds. We have 2 Stormtrooper squads, the 2 snipers who are kind of on their own, and a Death Trooper squad that has also lost a guy. And against that, we have 3 rebel characters plus long-range fire support from the snipers and the commandos. I honestly could see the rebel characters successfully pushing through this stuff and attacking this point and kind of stranding the elements that are over here behind this building and forcing them to choose, do we want to go to the left to back up our own position, or do we want to go to the right to try to take the center? That does seem like an outcome that might well occur. The yellow troopers are activating. Thanks to their suppression, they only get one action, and they are just running. The Empire is scared of Han Solo here. They do not want to face off with him, and their guys are pulling back and not doing much damage in this situation. In fact, I think the Empire they made one attack this turn, I believe, with the Death Troopers over there, and it had no impact, whereas they have themselves had a sniper picked off and a Death Trooper picked off, though a medic was standing by. Okay, so now the last Rebel last Rebel Special Forces unit, the Commandos there, see if they rally. They do rally. They have been equipped with environmental gear, so they can freely move out of this crater if they want to. And they probably are going to have to, because it looks like their line of sight has really been constrained. Probably what they want to do is move to range 3 and shoot those Death Troopers. Yep, and it looks like that's probably what we're going to go for with the Commandos maneuvering. So I don't think this guy can see, but it's possible they're playing that thing as more open. If he moves a little bit to the right, or she, or whatever, they can see, and they can still get range 3. In any case, the other guys could use cohesion to be able to see. So I do think we're going to see a shot at the Death Troopers, knock off their suppression, and then Han can come charging over those crates with his environmental gear and firing on the units to his front. So we'll see whether or not they do that. Suppression really hindering the Imperial player right now, with several of his units being suppressed and not really doing a whole lot. Yeah, it looks like they're saying the guys over here can see, the other guys can't. Maybe not. Actually, they're repositioning a little bit. Looks like they can see like 2 Death Troopers, maybe 3. I think that the unit leader can't see, though it's possible if they're playing those crates differently, they can. Oh, no shot on the Death Troopers. They're trying to snipe off Veers. Oh, no, just kidding. Maybe the sniper will shoot Veers, and I don't know. There's something odd there. I could see them going for Veers. They do have Hunter, and it would be an opportunity to try to pick him off. But it does look like they're going for the Death Troopers to try to eliminate that standby instead. Actually, I think shooting Veers could be kind of good, since I don't think he's activated yet this turn. But it isn't what they're going for. It looks like 3 plus the sniper on the Death Troopers maybe, and 2 shots get in. So that's going to be 2 saves for Death Troopers with Pierce. This could be tough. Yeah, they pass both their saves, but one is picked off. Death Trooper's vulnerability to Pierce showcasing itself yet again. And now it's just down to 3 Death Troopers. They do still have their DLT, that's this model in front of Veers, who is incorrectly depicted with a T-21. And there goes that standby token. Once again, the weakness of standby is on display. Probably would have been better for those Death Troopers to just shoot and then move, rather than going for the standby play. Which list would you hate to see going up against Double Bounty Yavin Base? The Rebel one? I think the Rebel one is very weak to Double Bounty, because I think the big Commando squad is a prime target for Bosk's line in weight. I don't know about the Imperial list against Double Bounty. That might be interesting. Yeah, Bounty on Chewie tends to be pretty brutal. So now we're seeing just a little bit of maneuvering again. That's, is that a new standby token? Okay. The blue troopers doing aim standby. Not sure that's so strong. I think we could well see Chewie pick at the blue troopers from long range and knock the standby off them, but it looks like he can't quite see. In fact, it looks like Chewie can't see anything except for he can see a Death Trooper's leg, and he can see, I guess, Veers' base. Target is going to be Veers. I think he can see part of Veers' base. And does Chewie have Hunter? Wow, Chewie does have Hunter. So that will give him an aim and give Han an aim. So we'll see a double aim Chewie shooting at Veers. That could potentially be a lot of damage if he rerolls into some crits or similar, thanks to his 2 aim tokens that he's going to receive here. 1 that he already has with Han, and 1 from Hunter. Yep, and so there's the aim. Looks like he's forgetting to... Oh, no, there you go. There's teamwork. So 2 aims for Han, 2 aims for Chewie. Chewie against Veers. Veers does have heavy cover, but this could just get rerolled into a bunch of crits. 2 crits to begin with. Oh, he's making a big mistake. He needs to reroll that red die 2 for higher crit chance. Not sure why he's doing it this way. Yeah, big mistake there. Missed 2 rerolls that he could have taken, but those crits will get through, so that will be 2 saves for Veers. So that was just objectively bad. Because he has heavy cover, the hit doesn't do anything, even if the other one rerolls into a hit. And for that reason, it would have been better to reroll both of them. That would have given him 2 more opportunities to potentially get a crit. However, the 2 wounds do get in thanks to Pierce, so Veers is knocked onto only 1 wound. And that side really is not looking great for the Empire. It is really not looking great at all. Veers now activates. He luckily he did live through that. And doesn't rally. That's fine. Doesn't need to, really. Veers might have to move back because I think if Han moves out there, Han has actually a really good shot to kill Veers. Yeah, he would only have suppression cover. All Han would have to do is roll 1 hit on 2 red dice with 2 aim tokens. I think it's almost guaranteed that Veers dies if Han gets a shot on him. So Veers might have to leg it and kind of pull back like the rest of his guys have been. The only problem is I'm not sure where he can go without exposing himself to something or another. If he goes this way, there's a lot of rebels waiting for him. If he goes that way, there's a lot of rebels waiting for him. Veers is kind of in a pickle here and might well die pretty soon. It looks like he's actually going to move forward. He might be trying to just go out in a blaze of glory, just run out there and maybe try to take down a commando before he dies. He has a decent chance to get a crit. So maybe he'll just maybe that's his plan. Maybe it's, if I'm going to die, I'm going to try to take down one of those high damage dealing units with me and at least diminish their attack pool somewhat. I'm not sure. Certainly Veers is in a pickle here, and I'm honestly not sure what I would be trying to do with him myself at this phase. There is a medic standing by that might be able to heal Veers if he doesn't play Veers as aggressively. It looks like he might be going for the crater, get to cover 2, which would help him against Han, force Han to get both of his results, or get one of the... Yeah, so Veers actually running into the crater. That will give him cover 2 against Han since he still has a suppression, and then he's going to take a shot. Actually, it looks like he's maybe redoing his move. Unsure what's going on there. Maybe redoing his move to try to get range on the commandos. They're having some difficulties. He does get barely range 3, edge of range 3 on the commandos, and I do think that's probably his target. So firing on the commandos, he might have them out of cover. He does have the commandos out of cover. So good move there by Veers. This could actually do some damage, though of course normal hits will likely be taken onto Chewie anyway. Veers firing on the rebel commandos and gets nothing. Ouch. Veers' weapon is not reliable with only those white dice, and unfortunately of all the commanders, he is the most likely to blank out, aside from the generic officers. Veers has a pretty decent chance to not do anything, and even when he aims, he's not so reliable, simply because he is rolling those white dice. 1.4 FD cannon gets pulled. Let's see. Now, the 1.4 FD cannon can't really see anything here. So, yeah, just going to be a dodge standby, it seems. FD kind of locking down that central area. And I have to say that even though that one squad did get panicked off the board, aside from that, the Imperials have done almost no damage at all, and it's really looking bad for them. They look like they're pinned down, just really getting hemmed into this sector. A sniper does not rally, which is actually good. It means he will have heavy cover. Looks like the sniper is going to come around the other corner and take a shot here. Trying to avoid getting picked off by Han. I might well activate Han. I'm not sure holding off so much on Han is a great idea. Let's see what this sniper can see. Maybe shooting for the rebels up top. Yeah, rebel unit up top that hasn't activated yet is now going to get 2 suppression. So if the rebel commanders have moved out of range, which it looks like they might be, I'm not sure on range to Leia, but if they are out of range, we could well see another unit panicking, and a crit comes in, so it will kill a guy as well. So there's a second suppression for that Rebel Trooper squad up top. I do think they should have activated earlier to avoid a potential panic, but we didn't see that. Now we do see that squad getting pulled. Let's see if they rally, and if they don't rally, let's see if they're in range. Looks like Han is not in range. Leia's a little closer and might be in range, but honestly, I don't know. Shoot. I don't think they're in range. I could be wrong, but I don't think they're in. I think this line is going to end... Oh, man, it's really close, but I don't think they have it. So I think the squad had better roll some good rally dice. If we see another unit panic, that really is indicative of a mistake. Timitation Irish, this blue unit, this purple unit panicked on the first turn after Annihilation Looms plus a long-range suppressive shot from some Death Troopers. They were not deployed in range of a commander, and they did panic off the board on the first turn, which was a big setback for the Rebel player. And now it looks like this blue squad is at risk of panicking if they don't rally one of these. Odds are better than even they'll rally at least one. They do rally once. They're just suppressed, don't panic. Good result there for the Rebels, but he does need to be a little more careful with the movement of his commanders to avoid this sort of thing happening again. Looks like they will be shooting for the Death Troopers. 3 black, 6 white into heavy cover. Not necessarily... or yeah, they lost 1, so it should be 3. Okay, they're deleting 1 now. This is a situation where that Z6 is nice. Having that many dice means that even if you're shooting into heavy cover, you have a pretty good shot to get a crit. So let's see what damage they can do. Yeah, there's a crit and 3 hits, so that's going to be 2 saves for the Death Troopers. 1 Death Trooper falls, would be 2, but they do have that defense surge, which is not shared by most other units. So some of the resilience of Death Troopers is seen here, but they're still not doing great. You know, they're still taking some losses. And without the DLT upgrade, this squad's ability to do damage is really getting diminished by each casualty. That's actually one downside of more elite units. An elite squad, so the basic troops have a lot of their damage backloaded onto their heavy weapon, which means that as each guy dies, it doesn't necessarily impact the overall damage as much. Whereas elite guys, where each guy does more damage, losing each one can be more of a blow. Now, of course, elite squads are also a little bit more resilient, so they have that going for them. But you feel each casualty that you take more so than with other units, especially if they don't have the high damage heavy weapon options. So now we're seeing a Yavin base. It's not greater than a coin flip, not doing damage, if I recall correctly. I think it's, I believe it's 4/9, no damage, 4/9, 1 wound, 1/9, 2 wounds. I think. Okay, so now this sniper's moving out and also firing on that same unit, stacking up the suppression tokens, and does get a hit, saved by cover, but that will be another suppression on there. Imperial Sniper is not doing great. Yeah, Yavin base, it's the same math as when you rally with 2 dice. You have a 5/9 to rally either 1 or 2, and a 4/9 to rally 0. But it's in reverse. Oh, shooting into heavy cover. Yeah, sorry. So I was saying the odds for, I was saying once you got to the point where you're rolling 2 saves, if you're rolling 2 saves, the odds are slightly better that you take, the odds are in favor of you losing at least 1 guy. If you are, I would totally believe that a Z6 shot into Death Troopers in heavy cover often does nothing. Okay, Han moving up. Looks like there will be... Oh, man. Han bamboozling these guys. There will be a standby shot, but I think only 1 guy can see him. So standby, another weakness of standby being exposed. Oh, no, he's moving further out. Okay, never mind. Maybe he's just going to dodge the standby. It looks like it looks like he's just going to dodge the standby. Okay, so a different weakness of standby being exposed, the fact that you can just dodge it. And, yep, now he's going to shoot the Death Troopers and shoot Veers, it seems. Yep, Death Troopers and Veers, I feel. Death Troopers with light cover, which Han ignores. Veers with heavy cover, which Han busts down to 1. We're likely going to see a dead Veers here and some dead Death Troopers as well, but with those 2 aim tokens. This is really Han's kind of optimal environment, shooting enemy troopers that don't have very good cover. Han's least optimal environment is having Jedi come and beat him up. But he doesn't have to worry about this against this list. He doesn't even have to worry about Royal Guard against this list. He can just get in there and do some damage. So first, Han's first shot being fired against those Death Troopers connects with one, spending an aim token to reroll the other. That's prudent. And he does double crit, so 2 Death Troopers off the field. Han has Pierce 2. And that does mean the Death Trooper DLT is out. It's just going to be the squad leader left from that blue Death Trooper unit. Pierce really taking its toll on the Death Troopers. Han doing what he does best. Now Han is firing on Veers. If he gets both hits or if he gets one crit, Veers is dead as well. And there's a crit. Veers is off the field. Double crit, in fact. So Han really taking a toll this turn, finishing off Veers and killing 2 Death Troopers. Didn't even need to spend both those aim tokens. The Imperials are falling apart. If we look at the casualties that have been taken, the Imperials did this turn. The Imperials killed 1 rebel trooper with all their armies shooting. They killed 1 rebel trooper from the blue squad. Didn't do anything else. And on the other side of things, they lost almost an entire Death Trooper unit. The other Death Trooper unit lost another guy. They lost Veers, and they have took another casualty on a sniper. So they've taken really some major damage, and that also means, oh man, he's discarding his command cards, Maximum Firepower and Imperial Discipline. He's discarding them from his hand. I don't think that you actually have to discard them. There's a chance that you don't have them, so there's like a bluffing aspect to it. But with the loss of Veers that early before he uses his cards, that's going to be a serious problem for the Imperial player, especially because he probably wanted to use Imperial Discipline to rally those Death Trooper exhaust weapons, though I suppose the impact of that would be low at this point, since the Death Trooper squads have been so depleted. There is another medic over there. I don't know if that yellow squad is activated yet. I don't recall, but if they haven't, they could heal a Death Trooper, maybe get that DLT back. Not sure. So this squad doing the hit and hide here, moving out, shooting, and then moving back. The hit and hide, or the shoot and scoot, or the jump shoot jump, or there are several names for this tactic. Does get a crit, so that could be another kill. If this save fails, that doubles the amount of damage the Empire has done this turn. Oh, but the save passes. Oh, brutal. Man, the Imperials are really not getting good results right now. I think the Rebel heroes and elites are going to overrun the Imperial flank here next turn, and that's going to leave Krennic and his boys over here in a pretty tough spot. It also occurs to me that the Imperial snipers moving out are now potential targets for the Rebel snipers, or at least this one is. So that might not have been a great move, and it looks like maybe this other guy is visible too. Like, I can see a little bit of something over there. Yeah, I think that guy's like elbow is going to be a target as well. So that's a costly maneuver. You know, the Imperials. The gopher, the prairie dog, the pop-up attack. You know, the Imperials are really suffering here. They tried to hide and play conservative this turn, and they didn't even get results commensurate with that, because it seems like the Rebels still did a lot of damage. The Imperials did manage to dodge the 1.4 FD cannon, but all the other Rebel units except for Leia still got to attack. So all that hiding didn't actually seem like it diminished the incoming damage that much, and it did mean that the Empire did very little. I do think they could have done better by shooting before they moved instead of moving and using standbys with the Death Troopers and the Blue Stormtroopers, but either way, the Empire is in big trouble here. Alright, some cards being played here. Let's see what we got. Deploy the Garrison comes out versus Save Our Skins. I don't know why you have Save Our Skins in this build instead of Notorious Scoundrels. I'm not going to lie. I would definitely play Notorious Scoundrels here if I had it, and just take Han's 1-pip back and have another turn where you're guaranteed to go first. That's okay. We'll see how this goes. So it looks like counters, I don't even know who wants the counters now. It does give out free standbys. The free standbys might not be bad at preventing Han from doing even more damage, or at least making him kind of afraid. So we're seeing Leia gets a counter. It looks like the counters are actually on the other side of the map. Don't think that's right. I don't know, maybe they're out of command range actually. So yeah, over here, Leia's going to get to activate one of the other characters. This is one of the few situations where this card is actually good. If Leia can get into range that one Death Trooper, she can shoot the Death Trooper, probably kill him, then have Han run up and shoot both the normal trooper squads, or shoot both the snipers or something. The Empire is really, really not looking like they're in a good spot here. Now, the best way to deal with Han is probably to assault him. If they can draw that Death Trooper and he can move up twice and get Han in close combat, that's probably their best option to try to prevent him from just wreaking havoc on their troopers. Because if not, Han has these guys wide open, and that could easily be 4 troopers down, which are losses that you really can't afford to take. Han has a lot more counters than Luke does, but if Han is in his, like, optimal situation where he's just blasting troopers that are in the open or in light cover, which he ignores, it can be as much damage as Luke often does, or even more, actually. I haven't done the math on that. Let's check that. 28. No, okay, so Han has a little bit less damage than Luke on average if he's shooting 2 units in the open versus Luke swiping them with his saber. Now, the one benefit, this card does give a free aim to these guys. Now, they're going to lose their standby immediately because they moved. Tabletop Oddity says, I'm not sure what I would have done as the Empire player, but it feels like he's just letting this happen. Yeah, the Empire player has firmly lost the initiative, I feel. I do think his army is not as good as the Rebel army, but I don't know what he's going to do to get into this game. Because right now, yeah, I mean, he's not in a great spot. I don't know, though. Let's say this. So yeah, I think basically the big flaw that he's done is he has his big damage dealers, the Death Troopers, and they have not really been taking very many shots. One of them shot... So this unit has been firing, but they don't have the heavy weapon upgrade, which has really limited their damage output. And the other unit has been... Okay, so the long-range shot on the no effects, at least it'll be a suppression. Oh, they do have an aim, though. They can reroll all 3 of those. Nice, 2 crits. So that'll be 2 saves for the blue guys and another suppression. Yeah, so I think that they do make a save. Blue guys have been really pretty good saves, but the suppression is starting to stack up. Yeah, Death Troopers are his main damage dealer, and he hasn't had them been doing damage. He hasn't had his normal squads be doing damage for attrition. The Rebel Trooper squads, meanwhile, have been firing their Z6s at those Death Troopers, or at least the ones that didn't run off the board. He's just not... he's way, way behind on the damage dealing and attrition game. Really not sure why the Rebel player's drawing here. I would absolutely go with Leia first, but that's okay. I would go with Leia and then Han using her command card ability, just push that flank and really just kind of try to take as much advantage as possible. Looks like instead he's going to opt to go with a large commando squad. That's not insane. Nope, he's going for a sniper. Sniper will aim and shoot the Imperial sniper, maybe? I don't think that's a terrible move. I just think it's less high priority than using Leia and then Han. I do think this Death Trooper list, I think it's becoming apparent that these medics are not necessarily enough to keep the Death Troopers alive, or at least they're not enough to keep the Death Troopers alive while the attrition game is otherwise so going so poorly. Most of the Imperial units are not even attacking. And a lot of attacks have been focused on those Death Troopers in the meantime. Sniper shot, probably aim and shoot at that enemy sniper. There's the crit. That sniper's off the board. An activation lost for the Empire, and they have now lost... That's actually only their second activation they've lost. The Rebels having lost 1 activation when that unit ran off the board. Yeah, I actually think this Rebel list is kind of cool. So it's Han, Leia, Chewie, 1.4 FD... 3 Z6 squads, 2 sniper teams, then a full commando squad. I will have to say I think this list is very, very weak to Bosk, but you know, I don't have many qualms with it other than that. All right, Death Trooper Sergeant trying to rally. I do think it's probably going to be assault time for Han if this guy thinks of doing that. Yep, looks like he's figured it out. Charging at Han. Yet another reason why it would have been better for the Rebel Trooper to pull Leia there, activate her, move up and kill that guy, then activate Han and have him move up and shoot either the snipers or the troopers, and he can really choose 2. So yep, Han getting assaulted, and that could be fairly annoying, though I think probably as the Rebel player, I might move Chewie in there and punch that Death Trooper. You get 4 red dice in there. Try to free up Han to shoot. Try to free up Han to shoot at infantry squads. On the other hand, it does sort of cement the fact that Han is not going to die, but I don't think the Imperials had a realistic chance to kill Han here anyway. Han is actually pretty good. I think Han is underrated. He's not as much like raw power as Leia or Luke in terms of the stuff that he does, but his command cards are extremely disruptive, and if he gets into a good situation in terms of just shooting his gun, he can be very deadly. He is kind of weak to Pierce, though, so, you know, that may be one reason that we haven't seen him fielded quite as much. One other thing I'll say about Han is that if you take Han, you gain a huge advantage against Emperor Palpatine lists, like a preposterous advantage against Emperor Palpatine lists. Yeah, so we see Screwtape and Yavin Base saying they've been fans of Han for some time. What types of lists are you guys running Han in? The problem for me is that if I run Han Leia, I'm like, oh man, I don't have Luke. And if I run Han Luke, I'm like, oh man, I don't have Leia. And that's sort of the big issue for me. One thing that could be interesting is Han, Leia, Sabine, but I think that's a lot of points spent on characters. Where you have Sabine as kind of the, like, fill-in Luke, like, not quite as good as Luke, but, like, eh. And then you do, you could do Han, Leia, Sabine, and you could do the command cards as, you can have Bombardment, Explosions, Reckless Diversion, No Time for Sorrows, Legacy of Mandalore, and Change of Plans. That's actually a really scary command hand. You have like the two best command cards of each of those characters. I don't think Sabine... So I know that like Sabine notionally is slightly better than Luke, like head to head. But I think that in point of fact, the fact that you don't have Force Push is just immense. Because Force Push is broken. Force Push is probably the best card in the game. I think Force Push should probably cost like 20 points, and I think I would still take it. It could potentially cost more than 20 points. And Sabine does not have Force Push, and Luke does. Now, Sabine is even faster than Luke. Sabine's shooting is probably better than Luke's because she has Gunslinger. She also has 3 dice, which gives her a better chance to get a crit in through cover. And she does have... She definitely has some upsides, but... No Force Push, and only immune to Pierce in melee means that she's a lot more vulnerable to snipers. Looks like Krennic got caught in the open, taking 4 wounds from a Z6. Does make 2 saves, though, so just 2 wounds get through. Man, Imperial's just taking all kinds of damage this game. Every Imperial unit except for the yellow troopers has taken at least some damage, and some of them have been entirely killed or hugely depleted. On the Rebel side of things, meanwhile, only 1 unit ran away, and then 1 unit has taken a little bit of damage, plus some wounds on Chewie, but most of the Rebel units are untouched. Screwtape says my take on Sabine is that melee will be an issue for her. Yeah, so the thing is that Force Push means that Luke can get out of melee. So Luke, you can charge him to tie him up, kind of, but it's usually bad. Like, Force Push is a big problem. Additionally, the, what's it called? Sabine actually does have one other weakness, which is that she has Courage 2. She does have Dauntless to mitigate it, but I actually think there are some situations where Sabine is going to be at risk for panic, because people focus a lot of fire on Luke, and they may well be able to focus similar amounts of fire on Sabine and potentially scare her away. Though Dauntless does help, but also Dauntless increases your suppression, so that's kind of a you win some, you lose some, you know what I mean? There is that new training card that removes a suppression at the end of your action. I'm not sure that it's good, but if the counter to Sabine does end up being suppression, we might see that coming out there. Yeah, so she does have that whip card. We don't know what it does. If it does end up being like Boba's, if it's the same as Boba's whipcord as the gear upgrade, she's probably just broken. Like, it would be absolutely ludicrous to have that card as a gear upgrade. But, you know, we'll have to see. I think that if Sabine can get Boba's whipcord and it doesn't cost a huge amount of points, she will probably just be insane. Let's see here. If it's 15 points for one immobilize, one suppression, and exhaust, that could still be worth it, depending on situational factors. Like, if it were 15 points for that and you could move out of assault with guys that were immobilized, I would consider it probably worth it. If it were... Yeah, and basically it's about time Rebels had another pillar as strong as Luke. No, it's not, man. Luke is over the top, dude. I think Luke is far too good. And also, Rebels do have another pillar as strong as Luke. It's called Leia. She just does a different thing. But I actually think both Luke and Leia are, like, crazy and debatably unbalanced. But that's just, like, my opinion, man. I don't know. I also am a Rebel player. I'm not, like, complaining as an Imperial, but I think Luke and Leia are extremely strong. Alright, can't tell who the target is here, but the Commando's moving up and shooting. Maybe the Yellow Squad. I can't tell if they have any of these guys out of cover. They might have the Yellow Squad out of cover. I'd like to see those attack lines, but it may be that they're not drawing them. Here comes the shot. 5 hits. I guess it was the sniper? Okay, goodbye, sniper. Oh, no, just kidding. It was the blue guys. Okay, the blue guys do have cover. So that will be... But they have sharpshooters. That's going to be 4 hits, so 4 saves. He needs to make... he actually needs to make 2 of these to live. Only makes 1. Pierce is going to take him out. Entire blue stormtrooper squad wiped off the board. This situation is going from bad to worse for the Empire. Biggin says, all I know is that red dice suck. In my first game with Sabine, I was forced to make 6 saves, and I failed all but 1, and she died. That is... that guy should be dead. Oh, no, maybe this guy can't see his base. Yeah, okay, so the one sergeant actually saved by this little triangle here, preventing the commandos from seeing his base, and he remains alive, but still massive losses for the Empire. That's a DLT out, as well as 3 troopers. Yeah, low health, high save is less consistent. Even Luke is not so consistent, though the fact that he can easily get dodge tokens from various sources helps. Also, I guess Sabine has Nimble, and I guess she has, she has the ability to get dodges with, what's that called, her 3-pip? It's actually interesting. What do you think about Sabine Luke? And it's just really easy to get dodges on there. I personally am not sure about Sabine Luke. Okay, troopers shooting up there, 3 results. They do pick off 1 guy from the blue squad. Blue squad down to just a squad leader and a Z6 and a lot of suppression tokens. They might be up to 4. Yeah, 4 suppression tokens for the blue guys. They are quite probably going to... Well, it's not guaranteed. But they have a good chance to panic here. Sniper strike team comes out. I guess he's gonna shoot at the enemy sniper. I don't even know what else he would want to shoot at. Oh, actually, it's only the other guy that could see that guy's gun barrel or elbow or whatever. These guys are gonna have to move to take the shot. So move and then shoot the enemy sniper, I think. This has been a really brutal game for the Empire. The losses here are just disproportionate. Huge losses there, and basically 2 squads on the Rebel side. One of them isn't even out yet. And now we're getting a sniper shot. This has a pretty decent chance to kill this guy. Nope, miss. Okay. Empire must be happy to see that. Now we do see a rally here from the troopers. They were given a standby token which doesn't do anything, and now they're probably gonna... Well, it looks like they might not be doing that shoot and scoot tactic. Instead, they're going around the other side. Empire may be making a push for the center objective. Let's see how we're doing on time. They still have over an hour left. I don't think... I don't know. You know, maybe maybe the Empire is gonna try to assault the Rebel objective, given that they appear to be losing their own objective. That's actually kind of a good idea. The Rebels don't have that many forces on this side of the board, and if they just give up their own area for lost, maybe just maybe they can take the center and the Rebel home objective. It's gonna be tough, but I do think that's a better plan than try to hold off on the other side, given that is basically a lost cause, especially since the Rebel heroes haven't even activated yet. On the other hand, these Rebel heroes could just come charging across the bridge. We do see even more shots focused on that blue unit. It does get a crit, so that could be the Z6 down. Let's see if the blue unit passes its save. Nope, Z6 is down. That squad leader is likely going to flee with five suppressions. But honestly, I'm not sure he is that relevant anyway at this point. I'm not even sure what I'm going to be playing. I haven't played any League games yet this season, and I think I might just stay on Wonder Twins instead of playing Luke Sabine. I'm not sure. I haven't really played with Sabine, so I don't know how good she is. I do think her explosions are pretty cool. Okay, what's going on here? A little bit interesting. Okay, so I think the Rebel... I think maybe Han and the Commandos take the right side. Luke, Leia, and Chewie start moving towards the center to contest the Imperial attack there. That's probably what I would do. Looks like Han's decided to go in. Nope. Just kidding. Draws from the stack, draws the FD. Not sure why he did that. Is he going to be a standby dodge? Yep, doesn't have much relevance here. I just hate not having Leia, dude. Leia is strong. Okay. Moving here. Yeah, I could see that. Do some ion on the tank. I can see that. I haven't seen very many people playing the tank yet, which is interesting because I actually do think it's pretty strong. Imperial player, I think, getting fixated on that blue unit, having a sniper aim and shoot to try to take it down, I don't think that's correct. That unit's probably going to flee anyway. Does get the kill, so he has managed to take them out, but I think he's kind of over-focused there. I don't know why we haven't seen the tank. As Yavin Base is saying, I do think the tank is strong. If you have the pintle mounted, if you have, I mean, either of the pintle mounts add enough dice that you're rolling 6 or 7 dice at range 4. That can be quite annoying. The Death Troopers also have good damage output, and they have suppressive at long range, and they cost less, and they do seem to have been more popular thus far. I do think Luke will blow up the tank, but I don't know. I feel like if Luke charges you, you die. It's like, oh, so what? That's true for like every unit in the game that isn't a Jedi or the Electro Staff Guard. Like, is there any unit that doesn't die if Luke charges them? I'm serious. Why is Han doing a speed 1 move? I don't really understand this. He has environmental gear. Oh yeah, Palpatine too, I guess. Now the one thing though is that okay, so did Han run away? What happened there? I don't see any suppression tokens on him. I really don't understand why he did that. Can anyone in chat explain what just happened with Han? It might just be bad. Yeah, it could be that people like the Death Troopers more than the tank. They can do a similar role of range 4 firepower. They do it with suppressive, and they're cheaper. The thing is, though, the tank isn't afraid of snipers, and Death Troopers are, and snipers are a big part of the meta right now. I'm tempted to take the tank just for that reason. Yeah, I get that he disengaged. I just don't know why he did it so slowly. Like, he could have taken 2 speed 2 moves. The Death Troopers also look cooler than the tank, so that could be one factor. I think the Death Trooper models are actually very impressive. And the tank is, like, honestly kind of derpy. Like, I don't know. I don't like that design for a tank. I think it looks goofy. It's cool with the pintle gun and stuff, though. I actually don't think Double Bounty is that good. I think Double Bounty is kind of a meme list. I could be wrong, but I think it's like I'm not really that worried about the I'm not really that worried about Double Bounty. I could be wrong. Oh, okay, right. Han was an assault. That's what I forgot. That's why he did that. I am a clown. And then Leia easily kills the guy that was in assault with Han. Okay. Yeah, I forgot he had gotten charged there. I thought he was going to use Chewie to clear that out. But he used disengage and then Leia. I sort of wish I was on Imperials to play something that isn't Double Bounty and can test that, because I really don't think Double Bounty is actually very strong. I think that the command card disadvantage that it takes is a substantial issue, as in most 3-character lists. Though I do think that the generic officer Double Bounty is kind of cool, but realistically I would rather run Veers, Bosk, or whatever. Veers, Bosk, or Veers, Boba. I mean, Luke is sort of an issue for almost every list. Like, generic officer Double Bounty is cool. Alright, so we're seeing Chewie trying to finish off that sniper strike team. Fails it. 2 hits, but he doesn't have an aim, and that guy will have heavy cover, so it's just going to be a suppression. The other thing is that bounty, the value of bounty is hugely dependent on what scenario it is. Like on intercept the transmissions, bounty usually doesn't do anything even if you score it. Whereas on key positions or breakthrough, bounty can be huge. It's very dependent on situational factors, which I think adds an element of unreliability. Probably you just take transmissions out of your deck. I do think, I will say I do think generic officer Double Bounty is cool. I think that's a very interesting. I think it's a very interesting list also because it kind of like goes against convention in some respects. But I don't know how strong it is. I do like that we're actually seeing the generic officers seeing some play. I've traditionally thought of them as extremely weak, but I think that it's cool that now we're seeing lists like... I know that there are some people who don't want to run named characters and prefer to have generic characters, and that's cool, but I think that I think seeing generic officers actually used in some lists in competitive play is cool. Screwtape, I know that I think that Garnanana and ran it. Oh no, but wait, Screwtape, did you run generic at LCQ? For some reason I thought you did, but I might be wrong. I mean, their stats are bad. I honestly think they should probably cost 40 instead of 50. I think 50 is a little much. At 40, there would be a real question where it's like, this guy is definitely worse than Veers, but he's also half as much as Veers. Yeah, so I know you and Garn ran the generic officers. I don't know if anyone else did. I would like to see those generic officers at 40. I think there's an argument for them at 40. Brains and Brawn, oh man, probably going to be wasted here because Chewie can't see anybody. But really high damage potential if it were used in a different scenario. Really confused about what cards he's chosen here, but yeah. No, one thing I will say is that 40-point generic officer might actually be too good because it would cost the same as a basic Rebel Trooper squad, and you could use it as your backfield objective unit, plus it would provide like other support benefits in other situations. But I don't know. I guess the downside would be that it would make your command card control worse. Alright, we're seeing the Imperial plan coming to fruition with the kind of swap objectives. Empire now going for the Rebel objectives. Now, the Empire has taken huge losses, but they have kind of caught the Rebels out of position with so many Rebel units on the right side. So, we're now seeing, it looks like the Flamer is going to be in range, so these Snowtroopers might be able to take down... If the Snowtroopers kill these Rebel Troopers up here, all of a sudden things are looking a lot better for the Empire than they were earlier. Maybe put the generic officers at 45. In any case, I do think they could use a little points break. Here's a question. How long will it be until we see the generic 1-pips being played? I've actually done lists that have the generic 1-pips for Rebels. I could imagine lists that do the generic 1-pip for Empire, though they kind of suffer from command card decisions usually being obvious. Okay, Flamer and Frag Grenades getting 4 hits on those Rebels. These saves are going to be very important for the Rebel player. Will he be able to keep his guys up? Pretty decent saves. He loses 2 guys, so they will get an out-of-cover shot against the Snowtroopers in retaliation. Not sure why he moved the unit like that. Actually a big mistake, as he is now out of cover if the Rebel unit shoots back. I guess it's to minimize fire from over here, and he was assuming they would get them. But the Snowtroopers, also these snipers could probably move, see, and see both guys, see with both models and shoot. So this is an interesting situation. Not necessarily as much damage as he was hoping for. Yeah, the Imp 1-pip is not very good, but it is better than Ambush if you're going to be using it on a Special Forces or support or operative unit almost all the time anyway. So that's kind of the big question. Okay, Chewie moving up that side, enabling Brains and Brawn against this other flank, and then he's probably going to shoot the, probably going to fire on the sniper, try to pick him off. Rethinking his move for some reason. I would personally go that way with Chewie. I don't know. Actually, that's fair. Maybe he wants to just be more aggressive over here. Shooting for the yellow troopers. Not sure I like that. I kind of would prefer to see Chewie picking off that sniper personally, but maybe he's going to use his own snipers for that task and wants to put some suppression on those yellow troopers. That said, suppression doesn't really do anything because there is Compel right there waiting for them. So I think I would go for the sniper rather than going for the yellow troopers with Chewie. Take out an activation. I think the Imperial 1-pip should see their entire hand. And I think that it has the potential to be strong under that circumstance. Oh, does Chewie have these out of cover? No, he doesn't. It would be really funny if he did, but he doesn't. Also why I would go for the pink guy. Also why I would go this way, because I think he could maybe get them out of cover on that angle. But that's okay. Let's see if he can get some crits or a bunch of hits. 1 crit gets in, that's going to be 1 yellow stormtrooper down and a suppression token. I would rather have that be a sniper down, but it is what it is. If Leia goes next, she can probably run up, shoot those guys and use Brains and Brawn. I think she can get into range too. And if not, I guess she can move and shoot the sniper, so it's not terrible. I would try to activate those yellow guys before Brains and Brawn comes in, but it looks like he hasn't thought to do that. Death Troopers coming out. Death Troopers are pretty reasonable. Try to get fire on the green guys, and maybe you can pick off that Z6 if you get lucky. But once again, the lack of that DLT is really going to hurt because these Death Troopers are down to only rolling 4 dice, and against a target in heavy cover, 4 dice might not cut it. On the other hand, they do have those surges to hit. You know, we could see this doing some damage. There's the attack. 3 black and 1 white die. Surge to hit against heavy cover. Oh no, they're at range 2 and firing their pistols. Okay, that amps up the attack a bit. We're going to see 6 dice. Didn't realize they were that close. 4. Nice. That's going to be 2 saves. If both these saves fail, that Z6 is off. Z6 down. Yeah, Death Trooper pistols paying off there, adding a little bit to their damage, potential, and taking down the Z6. So we are starting to see that trade dynamic. Unfortunately, I do think Leia's now going to get to run up and use Brains and Brawn. Could even potentially kill that entire yellow squad in one shot. Let's see how she fares. Does she have environmental gear? She does. Man, there's a lot of it. Like, all of the Rebel characters ignore terrain, and the Rebel sniper ignores terrain. The big commando unit does. There's a lot of there is a lot of see if she rallies or gets hurt. She should ignore that since she ignores terrain, but that's okay. Or maybe it's dangerous terrain. I don't know how that works. Whatever. Okay, so now she's going to shoot at those guys. She does have line of sight to every model, and this is going to be 3 black, 2 white, and 2 red with Pierce 2, thanks to Brains and Brawn. This could be a one-hit kill attack. This does have the potential to wipe a squad. She doesn't have an aim, which is going to make it a little less reliable, but let's see what this result is. Surge to crit, Pierce 2. 5 wounds. Okay, so it's going to be 5 saves, but with Pierce 2, this could easily be the whole squad. Let's see how these saves go. They're gone. Whole squad wiped out. Brains and Brawn. And the yellow Imperial Medic falls totally unused. Brutal. Yeah, Brains and Brawn is an incredibly strong card. It's difficult to pull off, but when you pull it off, it gets a huge result, as we saw there. I do think the Imperial player should have seen that coming and tried to avoid it, but that's the way it goes sometimes. This Stormtrooper Sergeant might want to charge Leia. I don't know. The Empire really is in desperate straits here. On time, we have over 50 minutes left, 5-0. I don't think the Empire is going to have a real chance of playing to time. This is only turn 3. Or no, this is turn 4? Yeah, okay, this is turn 4. Okay, so I don't know, they have a chance. Because of this big bamboozle, or whatever you want to call it, with everything swinging around, if the Empire can take the Rebel objective, they have a chance to pull victory out of the jaws of defeat here. They've taken huge losses. The attrition game is absolutely not going their way, but this is the Legion, and this is a game. I don't think this is good. On the Rebel side, he's aiming and shooting that sniper. I would rather not do this. I would rather move over there and shoot the snows. He does get the crit there, so that sniper is off the field. I actually don't know if he aimed. Presumably he did because he's not doing another action. Okay, so the Imperial right flank has now just disintegrated completely. Nothing there. Nothing to stop Chewie from running onto that objective next turn or on turn 6. There's just one trooper in combat with Leia remaining of all the Imperial right flank. Basically half the Imperial army has died, but their other units have managed to push through the 2 Rebel troopers on this side with just 1 Rebel trooper sergeant remaining. And it does seem that it's possible that they could claim the center objective and the Rebel objective, with the Rebels' big flanking maneuver succeeding for damage but not succeeding for objectives. Okay, so now we're seeing Krennic. I think he has moved up and is shooting his pistol to try to finish off that last Rebel trooper. Krennic takes him out. The last Rebel trooper is finished off, so the Rebel troopers on the medium and center area have collapsed. A combination of the one unit getting panicked off the board, and then most of the Rebel support elements and other things going to fight on the side. I do also think that this FD was misdeployed and would have been better on kind of like a position over here next to the Rebel objective, for instance, where it could cover the center pretty easily. I don't think deploying it to cover this lane was necessarily the best option, but we'll see what happens next. It looks like a commander. That's going to be Han. Han probably just wants to leg it. I think he needs to get over there. There's a really big question, which is what is the other Rebel 2-pip? I think the Rebel player certainly wants that other 2-pip to be the No Time for Sorrows card to give a free move. That's going to be a lot more useful than Reckless Diversion at this phase. But I don't know which card he chose, so that could be an interesting surprise. Yeah, so right now, Reagan says the Imperial player has a real chance. Yeah, he does. He really could. He could do it. He could pull it out. I'm not saying that he will do it, but he does have a chance. Because he has enough units. He could get 1 unit there and 1 unit there, and he could take a 2-1 victory here. If it's a tie, he'll of course lose on victory points. He's doing atrocious on victory points. But it could be a 2-1 victory. Imperial troops rushing for the objective. These stormtroopers look like they're maybe going for the rebel objective, while the snowtroopers hold the center crater. The only problem is there's still 2 turns for those rebel characters to get in there and do some damage, and we will see what happens next. So, while we did see the Imperials taking huge damage and really being in a disadvantaged position on casualties, we're also seeing their positioning be a little better for those objectives. And as a result of that, as Biggins points out in chat, the Imperial player does have a real chance to take this game. Just goes to show, Legion is an objectives game. Legion is not a just kill the opponent game. It is an objective game basically all the time. FD comes up, not going to do anything. Oh, actually, that's prudent. FD pivoted a little too much, and then does a standby. Okay. Those guys obviously aren't going to come around the corner, so it won't do anything, but if they did for some reason try to get the snipers, the FD would be in a position for potential revenge. Did also pivot it too far. A lot of this arc is wasted over there. He should have pivoted it a little less far and just had that line going over there and the other line covering the other side more, but whatever. Probably not going to do anything anyway. It would have been better served covering the center objective rather than in the position where it did end up being deployed, but maybe he was afraid of a direct attack from the Empire. So we're now seeing the Rebel Commandos moving up. They're probably their strongest unit other than their heroes. I think at this point he could take a sniper shot, but I actually wouldn't take it. I would just keep moving up. I think it's better to move up and get your other guys into range than it is to take this one sniper shot. And he agrees with me. So we're gonna see the Rebel Commandos rushing up onto the bridge, and next turn they could potentially do some major damage. Now, the move to put these guys forward may have looked dumb at the time, but because the Rebel player didn't pull that Z6 unit before other stuff got them, it actually may now prove smart, because these guys aren't really in line of sight of the rest of the Rebel units. I do think the Rebel player should have been pulling stuff from the stack more, perhaps, but I guess he saw the opportunity to do that big brains and brawn and ran with it. We're now seeing the Seafoam sniper down here. Maybe a move and shoot. Almost certainly a move and shoot, actually. What's he doing? Might just be moving and not shooting. Okay, yeah, just moving and touching the objective. Okay, that's fine. I don't think that's necessarily his best option, but I guess move and shoot exposes you to more danger. I don't know. So he does have 2 snipers there to potentially claim that objective. Let's see if the Empire can take advantage of the kind of bold flanking maneuver by all the Rebel characters and sneak around, having overwhelmed the Rebel troops. I will say that if the Rebel player had not lost a unit of Rebel troopers to suppression for basically no reason, this game would be a lot less close. But, even though he did end up doing way more damage, this isn't a damage game, it is an objectives game, and that mistake may end up costing him. Let's see how things progress. I think we're about to go into turn 5. Yep, here come the cleanup buttons. Turn 5 it is. So, alright, here's what the Empire is down to only 5 units. It has the Death Troopers, the Snow Troopers, the large Stormtrooper squad, the 1 trooper in combat with Leia, and Director Krennic. The Rebels have Leia, Chewie, Han, the big Commando squad, the FD cannon, and 2 sniper teams. They have 7 units, the Imperials 5, and that 1 guy in combat with Leia is very likely to die. But the Empire has a better position on objectives, and there are only 2 turns remaining. Can the Rebels defeat this kind of last desperate play from the Empire player to try to hold on to the game? We could actually see this game go to a table also. It's entirely possible that the Empire would be wiped out. Whoa, 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 double standing orders. Whatever the last rebel card is, they're holding on to it. They play standing orders instead. The Empire does go first. That's probably good for the rebels. I think you might want to go second on this turn. Kind of make your opponent run out of activations first. Maybe that was his plan. Make his opponent run out of activations. He does have one more card to play, so he has whatever his remaining 2-pip is. We don't know. It could be Reckless Diversion, which would do basically nothing, but it could be No Time for Sorrows, and the free moves from No Time for Sorrows would be excellent. Okay, Flamer Squad moving up. The Imperials are pushing the Rebel objective with this Snowtrooper Flamer unit. I do think... Well, I don't know. So he could pop those other guys out for cohesion onto the other side and make an attack against one of these sniper teams. This would be potentially stronger, but it would also be risky. Right now he can't see. He's going for it. They're going across. They should probably have to... I don't know. I think they would have to test to see if they die in the thing, but I don't know. I actually don't know how that's being ruled. Presumably the players discussed it. Yeah, he's going bold. So go ahead and see if he can bump off one of the Rebel sniper strike teams, firing both the... So they will have heavy cover, but it is ignored by the Flamer, so it's going to be 2 black and 1 white die against the purple sniper. Or, sorry, 2 black and 1 red die, because they do have the frag grenades. That's going to be 2 wounds against the purple snipers. Can the purple snipers stay alive? Yes, the 1 successful save means that the purple sniper is still alive. That could be huge. These are really impactful rolls this late in the game. Oh man, and he's actually made a bit of a gaffe, I feel, because moving out there means that the FD has a shot lined up with no cover. We were joking about this FD's position, but he's now aiming and shooting, and we could easily see those 2 stormtroopers taken down by the 1.4 FD cannon. Three hits. Here comes the reroll. They have no cover since those 2 guys are in the open. All 5 hit. That Flamer and extra guy could easily be taken out by this attack. 1.4 FD taking them down. So it's going to be just the Snowtrooper unit leader hiding back there. And ironically, I think the green snipers may have a chance for revenge if they pop out and take a shot at the green guy. What I would probably do is I would put only the sniper out with the other guy hiding behind. All he has to do is roll 1 hit on his 2 dice to take down the sniper. So that's a bad development for the Empire player for sure. And it's a good thing that his other guys weren't visible, because that would have actually done 4 wounds. Oh, he's flipping his guys over to indicate that they're not dead, because there is still a medic. There is still a medic from the red squad that could come and heal, but he's activating Krennic first. I think that's a big mistake. I think he needs to use that medic ASAP, because one of the snipers can run out and potentially kill him before the medic is used. And I think he also should save Krennic so that Krennic has a chance to use his pistol. Director Krennic himself rushing the objective. Now, Krennic is actually pretty scary on this objective against the rebel units that are there, because his pistol is a good way to do some damage at close range. And additionally, he does not have a... he has enough wounds that they don't really have a realistic chance to kill him unless he runs out in front of that FD cannon. Oh, right, because he was on standing orders. My mistake. Yeah, you're right, Ramek. Now, rebels should maybe use improvised orders here to try to go with a sniper and get those guys before they heal, but he's not going to do it. Leia is aiming and punching. Let's see whether or not Leia can punch out. No, wait a minute. No, he should have order on Krennic, entourage out to Death Troopers, and then 3 core units that he can draw whenever he wants. So he shouldn't have had to go with Krennic. Okay, only 2 wounds from Leia in close combat, despite the aim. But 2 wounds is sufficient. The last trooper on the right side is killed, and Leia can now easily move onto and take the Imperial objective on that 6th turn. So Leia using her hand-to-hand combat techniques, and the last trooper over there is defeated. He doesn't have strict orders, so he should have just done Krennic and Death Troopers for full activation control. Now, interestingly, it looks like he's rushing the Rebel objective with even more units here. The Red Troopers moving up and healing that Flame Trooper critically. I definitely would have used improvised orders if I were the Rebel player to try to allow that Seafoam Sniper to run around the corner and shoot the Green Snowtrooper Sergeant before that medic is used. Oh no, the medic's already been used twice. It was the other medic. Yeah, so this medic was already used twice to bring back... they realized they made a mistake. The unused medic was actually the Gold Troopers, who died without ever using it. This medic has been depleted, so he can't bring that guy back. It's going to be 2 moves, moving right to the edge of the lava river, but not quite crossing it. Probably going to move over next turn to try to rush onto the Rebel objective. Now, he does have 2 units here that are poised to take that Rebel objective. On the other hand, the Rebels have 2 units here plus Han, though their units are a little weaker. Now we see that strike team. Is he going to run? Are we going to see one of these snipers? I would probably go with the Seafoam Sniper, move around the corner, try to kill the Snowtrooper. But we will have to see who is activated here. Because if you can kill the Snowtrooper, then it's 2-2. He would have to get both of the snipers and Han. I would hold off on that. No, don't activate the big unit. Hold off on the big unit to attack the Death Troopers if they move into the open. That's my view. What is he doing? I dislike this move. I think the big unit needs to be held in reserves to take down the Death Troopers on the center crater. I really do not like this move, but I guess he wants to have more reinforcement on his own objective. Oh, maybe they're going to just attack the Death Troopers here? I think... Oh, no, they're moving twice. I think this is greedy. I think you need to wait with that unit. You can wait him out. You have more activations than him. Let the Death Troopers move out, and then once they're out in the open or in the light cover, which you ignore, they have cover 1, and then you just blast them. Maybe he waits another turn, but that means that you've let him waste his activation. So I think that's not... now, on the other hand, these guys can move up top and shoot them from up there, but I think he has potentially lost an extra turn of shooting on the Death Troopers here. We will have to see how that pans out. This game is coming down to the wire, though. Every activation counts. The Rebel Commando full unit is still untouched, and they are the main damage dealer for the Rebellion at this phase, aside from the FD cannon, and I don't think the Imperial player will repeat his mistake and march troops into kind of the kill zone here on the other side of that turret, because this FD is standing by and waiting for more guys to duck out by that barricade. He's not actually standing by. What is that? Is there a Rebel trooper there who's still alive? No, I thought they all died. What is happening? Is there a Rebel trooper there that's still alive? I thought that unit got wiped out. Did they have 1 guy left? It should be a sergeant if there's 1 guy left. They're disputing it. I don't really know what's going on with this model. I don't think there should be a model there. There's some kind of bug. Is the model stuck? They're trying to move it, but it's not working. Okay, as I prepare to ask what's going on, they get the model unstuck from the terrain, and play continues. Don't know what happened there at all. Okay, so Rebel Commando is potentially missing up a chance to take a shot, which I would personally not want to miss out on, but we'll see how things go. Time for the Death Troopers. Death Troopers moving up. Death Troopers moving up boldly. I guess they... Well, no, actually Death Troopers retreating. Oh, man. Death Troopers could be another unit on the Imperial home objective, but I think they have to go for the center objective, because Leia and Chewie can get the Imperial home objective. Okay, so they are going to hide, which is kind of prudent. Prevent them from taking more shooting, because Chewie could potentially go, Han could potentially go. But I do think, I don't know, the Rebels might be able to rush this with enough units. So it seems now like I think the Rebels are probably going to win. So if they rush this home objective with these 4 units, the 2 sniper strike teams, the Commandos and Han, they have 4 units to the Imperial 3, and that Stormtrooper, the Snow Sergeant, will likely die. And then they can rush the Imperial home objective with Luke and Leia, or with Leia and Chewie, and that's 2 units to the Imperial 1. So if they do that, they can actually ignore the center objective, and I think they will have the game. But there is a chance that the Imperial will be able to take down some snipers. We'll have to see how that goes. Yeah, good call there, Ronak. He's hiding the Death Troopers in a position where he can choose which one to go for, depending on what the Rebel player chooses to do. Han running in there. Han getting prepared. Han up top. Now it's the strike team. I would use the Seafoam strike team to try to finish off the Snowtrooper Sergeant before I activate this one, because I think this guy's activation is more dependent on what else happens. But that's not what he's going for. Is this guy going to make an attack? He runs up onto the hill. He could actually shoot the Death Troopers out of cover here. I'm pretty sure he has an out of cover shot on the Death Troopers. Not actually sure though, because this position is glitching out. He could also shoot Krennic. He has, I don't know if he can see Krennic. Yeah, I don't think he can see Krennic. Maybe he can. That's really marginal. The camera's not really getting into the position that I would need. Yeah, if he can shoot Krennic, he does have Hunter, which would be funny. No, okay, he can see the guy from up there. Okay, so he's shooting that Sergeant. That makes a lot more sense. He just needs to roll a hit to kill that Sergeant. Nope, blanks out. But the Seafoam Sergeant has, the Seafoam Sniper has another chance to kill that Sergeant on this turn, and then there's going to be several chances on the next turn. He does want to kill the guy if he can. Not sure what's going on with his command stack. He should still have 1 for the Sergeant and 1 for Chewie. Oh, there we go. Okay. He might have taken out too many. We'll have to see. Looks like... Let's see here. Seafoam, green or foam or whatever sniper it is. I would probably move, peek the Sergeant with just the sniper, have the other guy stay behind and shoot that Sergeant, try to pick him off, eliminate yet another activation. Looks like he's trying to find the movement template, which is glitched into the terrain, a common fate in this game. Yeah, so he's peeking up top, he sees part of that guy's arm or something, and then he's going to shoot him. Great, yeah. His guy's falling a bit, but I think he can see him. A little tabletop simulator issue here. Yeah, okay, he can see him. It's fine. Great. And now he's going to shoot the green guy. Oh, can he put both models in to get 2 blacks and a white? It looks like he can. So 2 black and a white die. I'm not sure that's better than hiding, but he's going to go for it. So 2 black and a white die against the green guy. Any hit kills because the green guy's light cover is ignored by these lethal snipers. And we are seeing kind of the Hunter ability not really seeing a lot of use on these snipers. In fact, I think it has been used on turn 1 only. They do get the kill, so that Seafoam or the green guy is dead to the Seafoam snipers. And now there's only 3 units from the Empire versus quite a few units from the Rebels, and I do think the Rebels are going to take this one. They can use Leia and Chewie to claim the top objective, and they have so many units on the bottom objective that those troopers and Krennic are not going to get the job done. I do think that attack against the snipers, it was risky, but the situation with the turret made them pay for it. Chewie doesn't get hurt. So Chewie standing on that objective. Rare to see a game where Chewie barely takes any damage, but really the Rebels have basically lost their 3 core units and essentially nothing else. 2 wounds on Chewie and then 1 sniper strike team guy dead. Standing orders versus reckless diversion it is. Okay, so reckless diversion is actually pretty tight now. Reckless diversion can stand up top. No, if both his snipers get killed, it's still 2-2 on that objective, man, because it'll be Han and the large unit versus Krennic and the other guys. And actually with reckless diversion, he puts one of the diversions on the FD, which is actually pretty tight. It's going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult to pick them off. He'll have to do some real scoping to try to get that if the guys are forced to shoot at Han, which makes Han running up top make more sense. VP are currently... So no one has bounty or anything like that. What's going to happen here, I think, is that the Rebels just have more units to run onto there. Even if both the Imperial units make it and each of them kills a sniper, it'll still be 2-2. And then the Rebels can take this with 2 units, and it'll end up being a draw. And then the Rebels are vastly ahead on points killed, like not even close. So I do think that the last gasp of the Empire here is not going to pay off. But they have made it more of an exciting game than it might have otherwise been after taking massive losses early on. They might just be talking through the game. It's possible they're going to call it here. I think we're seeing the hands of the players just wiggling around a lot. I think they're talking through it. It's possible they've come to the same conclusion that I just have, where it's like, even if you don't get killed and each of your attacks kills a sniper squad, it's still going to be 2 units to 2 units, and that'll be a tie on the bottom. The Death Troopers can take the middle, and then Leia and Chewie will take the top, and the Rebels will win. But it does look like they've chosen to play it out rather than just calling it there. The Rebels do get to go first. Let's see what happens here when the Rebels go first. One thing that I'll also say is it's actually possible Krennic could get killed here. The big red unit has Hunter. Han is actually activating. I don't like that. Han was activating. He's going for damage. Okay, I don't think this is correct. This is actually opening an opportunity for the Rebels to win, for the Empire to win. Oh no, he's gonna shoot and then move. Okay, that's fine. So Han shoots and wounds Krennic, and then he shoots the normal guys and gets 2 wounds, killing 2 of them. So Krennic has now actually taken 3 wounds. Krennic is at risk of death, and the normal troopers take 2 wounds and get suppressed, but compel means that suppressing them is not going to do that much. And then I think we're going to see Han tag the objective. I always forget you can shoot and then move, because that's... I always think you can I always forget you can shoot and then move because I'm so used to Warhammer 40k where the shooting phase is after the movement phase for all units. So I often miss opportunities to do shoot and then move. That's kind of one of my weaknesses as a player. Yeah, Parksy, we had key positions, clear battle lines. Very straightforward game. Turned into a real bloodbath here. What will happen next? Maybe they're talking through the game now? I don't know. It's really not looking great for the Empire here. Down to just 3 units, and with the Rebels just having more units to put on those key positions, I'm not altogether sure what they can do. To make matters worse, I think the Rebel characters have almost no chance to die. Okay, Death Troopers running out there. Death Troopers are going to tag the crater there. That's probably the more prudent objective to go for, because the Rebel characters can actually maybe kill the Death Troopers if they go for the other, if they go for the Imperial home objective. So the big play from the Rebels on the right flank does indeed result in the Rebel characters stealing the Imperial's home objective. Now let's just see what happens with the remaining units. So Death Troopers in the center. Rebels pull a sniper. Probably want to use the pink guys because they're the ones that are that's the unit that's most at risk at dying. Looks like he's gone for the green ones instead. That's okay. That's going to be... I guess they can see... I guess they can actually maybe see everybody. It's hard to tell. They're going to shoot, and then they're going to move, probably. Shooting the red guys. 1 hit. So, one... actually... Oh, no. 1 guy will die because they're touching that objective. DLT knocked off. So yeah, the ability of the Imperials to kill the snipers is now minimal thanks to the damage that they've taken. Krennic can maybe shoot... I think Krennic can maybe shoot the pink guy and kill him, but if he does, I don't know that he has enough movement. Oh, no, he has enough movement. He can touch on the other side of the lava. So Krennic could maybe kill the pink guy and then touch the objective, but we'll see. I would also activate Krennic first, because I think you want to try to remove that one rebel thing before it acts. Looks like, I don't know if that's Krennic or not. Whoever it is, it has 2 suppression. I guess it was actually the trooper. Does rally it. Doesn't really matter thanks to Compel, but does rally it. Trooper touches the objective. Good job, Trooper. Ooh, that's actually a mistake. He has to touch the objective on the other side to get space for... Oh no, Krennic can do 2 moves if he just doesn't care about shooting the sniper. But if he doesn't care about shooting the sniper, the rebels are going to have 3 there to his 2. This game really is over. You're not allowed to put a guy on the top level like that if the unit doesn't clamber, so that's not really allowed. But we'll see what happens next. A purple guy is pulled out for some reason. I don't. Maybe a lag, maybe a glitch. Yeah, so that's not a legal move. Oh, he's trying to get him. What? Yeah, it's definitely not allowed. Oh, it said okay. It says we're playing him as touching the laser dish. Okay. If they agree on it, that's fine. Normally, that's not a legal move. You're not allowed to put a guy on a different oh, okay, so then actually he does clamber up, so that it is a legal move, but one of his guys dies, so the medic falls down and dies. But this guy actually charges the pink sniper, I think. Okay. Charges the pink sniper with a clamber. Okay, that's bizarre, but okay. The clamber kills the useless medical droid. The pink sniper can now actually disengage and let the FD kill the red guy. I think the pink sniper can even disengage onto the objective, so I think the red guy is going to die to the FD or something, and then it doesn't even matter because the red guys can also run in there. It's basically over, but they are playing it out. I think it does matter how many VP you get for this league, so maybe they're just trying to see how far they can get. I would maybe have the... Yeah, so the pink guy is going to disengage. Whoa, the other guy goes flying from the movement template. He goes flying from the movement template when this guy disengages from him. So this guy probably wants to disengage onto the objective, and then the FD can kill that guy. Maybe the red guys can kill Krennic. Maybe Chewie can kill the Death Troopers. I don't know. He has a low chance of actually wiping out the enemy, but it is, I suppose, possible. So yeah, there's the disengage onto the objective. Just the red guy. This FD might be just racking up the somewhat improbable shots here in the endgame where it looked like it might have been possible to avoid it completely. So yeah, there's the guy, moves onto there. Krennic time, last surviving Imperial unit yet to activate. Krennic has, I think, 1 suppression. He does rally. Not that that matters. That's actually bad for him. It makes him easier to die. So Krennic, is he touching the wall? If he's touching the wall, he could clamber up and then shoot some... No, that's stupid, though. It doesn't do anything. Okay, so Krennic's just going to run in there. And I guess he'll probably dodge. Dodging is actually kind of good for him. He could also stand by. He could stand by or dodge. He goes for the dodge. Not sure which of those is better. Okay, Chewie it is. Chewie can maybe move and shoot the Death Troopers and then rely on Leia to take that objective. Yeah, Chewie can easily get range to the Death Troopers. Should... Oh, okay. Won't be able to see them from here. Or maybe... Yeah, so he should just run out into the open because Leia can take that objective and there's absolutely nothing that can stop her. But he's just going to dodge and stand by. Okay, that doesn't do anything, but it doesn't matter. He doesn't need the table. It would have been slightly better for the way that this league works for him to have Chewie try to go there because you do have a chance to table the opponent if you do that. But it's a low chance anyway, so not going for that doesn't really matter. Are these guys charging? That is not very good. I mean, it doesn't matter, but... Oh, I guess they're not charging. I guess they're just moving up. So these guys should maybe... Yeah, actually, he should have definitely moved Chewie up because he can shoot... So he can shoot... These guys can shoot the Death Troopers and Chewie could shoot the Death Troopers, and if he shot both units at them, he would actually have a chance to remove them, and then he wins 2-0 instead of 2-1, which is useful for League tiebreakers. Terrible roll. Does manage to kill one guy, but that's not going to be good enough since he didn't take the shots with Chewie. So a little bit of a mistake there from the Rebels. Could have had a better margin of victory than he's going to end up with. But he has certainly won the game at this point. I think that pink guy is supposed to be touching, so it's 3-2 over here. Even if it's not, he wins on tiebreak. And then he still has the FD. I guess he just forgot to activate the FD. The FD can totally shoot the Imperial Trooper up there. I guess he just forgot to do that for some reason. But he's 3-2 anyway, so it doesn't matter. Okay, so the Rebels take their own home objective despite a last push from the Empire. The Rebels take their Imperial home objective after their flanking maneuver. The Death Troopers do barely manage to hand onto the center, so I think it's going to be a 2-1 game win for the Rebellion. The Empire made it a bit closer than it needed to be at the end, but overall the Rebels did still win. Now a bit of post-game analysis. So from the Rebel player, we did see one big mistake, which was losing the purple guys to suppression. It made this flank a lot harder than it needed to be because he only had 2 Rebel Troopers holding the line instead of 3. On the Imperial side of things, the attrition game got away from him very early on. As a result of that, he started using a more like move and hide type strategy, which actually it did make it so that he didn't lose as many guys, but he wasn't that successful in hiding. He had 2 units that could potentially do big damage. They were taking standbys instead of shots. If they had been shooting, they could have done some more attrition on the other side. He could have had some more. He could have had some more stuff going on there, which might have been a better move. And however, he did have a nice rally at the end where he did kind of make a game of it, go for those objectives, and did manage to at least do a bit of contesting. If some rolls had gone better against those snipers and for defense against the FD, it might have turned out. I don't know that he would have won, but it might have been even closer than it was. So overall, nice try from Ghost Walking at the end there, but Luunta will take the game with his unusual Han, Leia, Chewie, Commandos, and FD list. So that was a cool game, guys. Thanks for watching the stream. I am going to close it down, but we are going to be back later. I think I'm actually streaming another Legion game today in about an hour or two, so stay tuned for that. And in the meantime, I am going to close things down. Thanks again for watching, and we will be back with more Star Wars Legion content. Catch you later, guys.